with Kaos, the UK's strongest natural athlete, under 80 kilograms, and Britain's fourth strongest man, under 80 kilos. Today we had a little chat about where he's from, his training, his coaching, past comps coming up, future aspirations, and just generally find out more about him as an athlete and an individual. Hope you enjoy.
Lovely, jubbly. Right then, Carl. So how you doing there, buddy?
Yeah, not doing too bad, Matt. What about yourself?
Yeah, loving life, loving life. So, right, guys. So what we've got Kyle Scott with us here. So we're just going to do a little interview about Kyle, so you guys can get to know him, and sort of see what makes him tick, where he trains, all the sort of stuff that we do. So, first of all, Kyle, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how old are you? Where do you live? Like, who coaches you? Where do you train?
So I'm 22 from Northern Ireland. At the moment, I just train at home. Ever since COVID, I started buying equipment, and it's got to the stage now where I don't really need to go to any other gym except to train with people. So it's always good fun. Coached by Laws, Lawrence Chalet, which I have to say, being coached by Laws it's just the fact that I can hop on my phone and text Laws and he replies to me, like it's crazy that.
I was going to ask you, like, what's it like being coached by Big Laws? Obviously, I'm coached by Josh Lancaster, so I think every coach is going to be a little bit different, but quite interested to see what he's like as a coach. Is he quite he's quite attentive? Is he quite on your case, or?
Most of the time he leaves me to myself. You know what I mean? If I wasn't to I send videos after every session, that sort of thing. If I was to miss a couple, I haven't left it long enough to see if he'd text me, because I'm quite good at sending the videos straight after a train. But he lets me be. If I need him, he's there. And if he does need to go at me, you know what I mean, he'll do it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, it must be awesome, like just picking up your phone and seeing the text from Big Laws and things like that.
Have to say the voice messages are class as well. The odd time he can't text you back, he's sending you a voice message. I'm like, oh my goodness, like Laws is actually talking to me here. Like it's
fanboying out over there. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. So I think like a lot of people that train strongman, or at least compete in strongman, with lockdown coming, I think obviously having a purchase kit, like I myself had to like buy half a strongman gym just to be able to like try and train and keep some kind of level of like competitiveness up. So you say you do all of your training at home?
Yeah, all of it. Like very rarely I'd travel to go use bits of kit or to train with people. In the last couple of months, I maybe went to a different gym twice.
Fair play, man. So you just train at home by yourself then, like no training partners or anything like that?
The closest I have to a training partner, sometimes my dad will come out and help me with the deadlifts.
Yeah, I've seen him.
I still live at home.
I've seen him trying to get the deadlift straps off. Okay, cool.
Trying to take the belt off too soon.
I was going to say, so that sort of leads us on to the next question of like, do you find like you come across any major issues like training at home? Obviously, like deadlift suit is number one. Like I panic if I don't have somebody in the gym to take that deadlift suit off me. But do you run into any other little obstacles and stuff? Like, do your mum moan about you slamming farmers down on a paving slab?
Well, we've been through that issue. I've had to get rubber mats to sit outside, so I'm dropping it on the mats instead of the concrete. Yeah. But like other than that, I'm only in there for a couple of hours. It's not that much noise. I've never had any issues with like getting stuck under anything like that. I pride myself in being too fast to get stuck under something.
Hey, to be fair, like your split jerks on the weekend were pretty impressive.
Yeah. No, just the deadlifts is the only issue I run into, and even at that, it's not really an issue. It's just handy to have someone there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you can always wiggle your way out, or like get it on a bar or something like that. Can't you? Okay, brilliant. So, how long would you say you've been? I don't want to say training strongman because, like, as soon as people step in the gym, you're pretty much training for that. But how long have you been competing for? So you're only 22? Did you say?
Yeah. So let me see. I think end of February 2020 was my very first competition. It was like a beginners competition run by Dave Warner. At that time, I didn't know who Dave Warner was, but now that I do, I'm like, that's class. But serious, I've been training serious since January 21. That's when I brought Laws on board.
Yeah. Sort of really dedicated your training towards strongman. Or okay. So what were you doing before then? Were you any kind of sporting background before that, or?
I did a wee bit of everything. I've always not always liked sport, but ever since secondary school, I've loved sport. So in school, I played rugby. I took rugby quite seriously.
I thought you were going to come back and say, "No, I haven't really done much before that." And I was like, "Damn." But okay,
no,
it's good to know. But yeah,
so I went back. I went back and forth between rugby and just gym training, like bodybuilding type thing. I wanted to get into bodybuilding, but I
Yeah.
wasn't strict enough on my diet to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
But
think most people do that, like go into the bodybuilding route, and then you think, I don't know about getting into these
yeah,
pants and stepping on stage and all that, but then you start finding strongman kit, and you think, oh, I'm gonna have a bit of play with this. So okay, brilliant. So really not been like dedicated to strongman really that long then at all.
no, I did weightlifting for a year, just like self-taught weightlifting, when I was at uni for the year before I found strongman. So
Yeah, I found myself like I myself train at a coach at a weightlifting gym.
yeah,
I've found like since sort of dedicating the last couple of years to really pushing towards weightlifting, I found it helps you strongman no end. Like trying to, as a coach as well, like coaching people coming over from powerlifting and weightlifting, it's a completely different world. Like teaching weightlifters to move and like coordinate themselves and stuff. Like I think what you pick up in those early days in weightlifting is so valuable. So I'm glad to hear that, mate. Plus, it explains your split jerk as well, mate, because
yeah.
it's a very nice split jerk. I'll give you that.
You have to get good with the bar before you can get good with the log. That's what I think. Like
100%, 100%. So what does Loz think about you doing the split jerks?
He hasn't said too much. Like, for the program, sometimes it'll say log press, and I'll have to ask him, to do push press, to do split jerk, or at a time I did power jerk as well for the log. But other than like since then he started actually programming me separate split jerk and separate push press for the log and that sort of things.
Yeah.
So I don't think he minds. I think he'd like if I got a wee bit better at my push press, but like so would I. But
He's not too cool about it then.
Yeah, he's not too fussed about it.
That's good. That's good. Perfect. So, just quickly, I'll just let people know like what you've managed to do with yourself this year. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But so chatting at the minute, Kyle is actually UK's strongest natural under 80 athlete across Britain and Ireland. Really. Sad to say he beat me at the finals at the UKNS, but no, couldn't have lost to a better guy. Like I say, like you and Liam, like meeting you guys over in Ireland was absolutely awesome. You're both really good competitors, like really nice people as well. Hence why I've got you on to chat today. So yeah, he's Britain's strongest natural athlete at 22. I'm nearly 33 and still haven't quite got there, but it's good to see, mate. And then obviously we had Brits on the weekend placing fourth. Like I was blown away by your performance on the weekend. I'll be honest with you, Carl. Like I thought, yeah, me and Carl were pretty close. We were pretty close. And then when you picked up them 125 farmers and started sprinting, I was like, oh, okay, maybe not so much. But no, really good. How do you feel about your performance on the weekend, if you like?
So first when I found out, like I think the first time I seen the scores was after the sandbag, and like I came. You see, my dad was at home watching the live stream, and Mum was there with me, so she was getting texts about the scores. And I was like, I performed so badly in the sandbag. I went back through. It turned out I was 10th. I was like, how the flip my in joint fourth after that?
Yeah.
And that's what. Yeah, that's when I realized I was actually on for a good one. And then I kept looking at scores after every event. Fourth or fifth or joint fourth, something like that. And then I still couldn't believe I knew if I did well in the power stairs that I'd finished the fourth. But the best thing for me was when I look back at my performance, I made so many mistakes, and I'm still only just out of like within touching distance of the twins. I think it's 3.5 points. I was behind.
Yeah,
Tim.
so yeah, literally just a couple of little hits. Like if you'd hit the 127 log, like so close. Like maybe don't drop the farmers and stuff like that. Like you could have well been on the podium. So
yeah. Like
yeah,
literally
it's
another
very promising for years to come.
Yeah.
So I think the twins and Dean and Tommy are all getting over that 30-year-old hill with me as well. So definitely got a bright future, mate. So obviously Brits absolutely brilliant. We take you back to UKNS finals, just because I was involved with that one. I can talk a bit more about that one with you. How did you feel like personally you performed at the UKs? Do you feel like you could have maybe had a better comp, or like you say, was there a couple of mistakes, or are you happy with your overall performance? Or
I didn't make too many mistakes actually. UKNS. The one mistake I did do was for the Zercher and the sandbags.
Yep.
I have in training. I find that sort of event really tough, so I have to like jog back to pick up the sandbag to actually be able to finish it.
Yeah.
For some reason, comp that's never an issue, but I still jog. I need to start sprinting back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than that, just I maybe should have been able to pull another rep on the deadlift. Like,
yeah.
but just
Interesting. You had an excuse for the one event I beat you on.
yeah.
The two events that I beat you on actually. Oh, interesting. But, nah, fair play to you, mate. Fair play. Like even in Ireland, like, I think you're pretty. I want to say flawless because, like you say, you jogged back. You made like maybe a few little hiccups that you might not have done, but like I say, with what maybe your first or second year of like really competing seriously.
Yeah,
So
first year where I'm like limited comps to like the highest. I say highest level. That sounds weird, but like good high level comps.
Yeah, no,
You know
that's
what I
good.
mean?
That's good. So, but yeah, so to be number one natty and number fourth in the non-tested route in your first year competing, buddy, that's like some Mitch Hooper shit. That is. Maybe Loz is pretty good at what he's doing. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, brilliant. So I know for myself the turnaround between UKNS and Brits, like I say, like a bit of an older athlete. I've got a few like joint issues and a few injuries I picked up over the years. I found that turnaround from UKNS finals to the Brits. What was it, like 8 weeks or something?
Yeah,
I found it really tough to like get myself back into a rhythm, like really sort of get cracking on with things and sort of get rid of like little niggles in between the two comps. I was just interested, like obviously, with you being like a younger athlete, a lot younger, like how did you find that turnaround?
I didn't find the 8 weeks wasn't too bad because like I've done a few comps where a lot tighter. Like this next one is a lot tighter turnaround. But honestly, it's that long ago. I don't even remember it now. But it hasn't been too bad. You know, the Brits was always the big focus for this year.
Yeah.
So like I've been thinking about it for the whole year. So just knew how to switch on quick and get training for it. You know, look, I didn't pick up any injuries or anything at UKNS. I was a bit sore for a few days, mind you, after the stone off, but
that stone was good fun, wasn't it, mate? We'll try not to talk about that too much now. For those that don't know, I was half a point ahead of Kyle in the last event at UKNS. My heart sank when I like flopped on a stone and I just saw Kyle in the corner of my eye just carry on wrecking on the stone. I was like, oh no, here we go. But no, congrats on that one, mate. So just like a few more little bits we'll go over then, buddy. So obviously you touched on like you've got quite a quick turnaround for your next comp. What other comps have you got coming up this year?
So that's Europe's Strongest Man coming up 2 weeks time, I think now.
Yeah.
After that, I have 4 weeks until official Strongman Ireland's Strongest Man.
They're doing the Ireland Strongest Man now, aren't they?
What do you say, sir?
As OSG has sort of taken over the Ireland Strongest Man bit, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think it was run like for a few years ago by Dave Warner, and then because of COVID, now it went away, but they're starting to bring it back now. So we've 4 weeks until that, after Europe's, and then after that, I have 2 weeks until Natty Worlds in Edinburgh, where I'll hopefully see you at.
So you'll be nice and beaten up for Natty Worlds.
Yeah,
then, yeah? That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, to be fair, I've got the Arnold's qualifier between them here and then as well, so it's quite a light comp. So fingers crossed, I'll be all systems firing to take you on at Worlds, mate. I'll definitely need it, I think. So obviously, with a couple of comps under your belt on that, what would you sort of say personally is like your favourite event? Right, if we were looking at a comp and there was one event that pops up, what would you say was like you'd want it to be?
So there was always one, and that was stone, either for reps or for a run.
Yep.
I'd have to put power stairs up on that now.
Oh, see, I personally think power stairs and duck walk can get in the bin. I hate it. It's awkward. It looks weird. But yeah, you were pretty quick on it, so I'll let you off on that one. Okay, perfect. Mate. So, what plans have you got, sort of, if any, for next year? Then, have you sort of had a little look at what you're thinking of doing over the off season, if you're having an off season, or what comps you're lining up for next year?
I think I will take a few months now after Natural Worlds. Mostly because don't see anything coming up that interests me. You know what I mean? There's a few like deadlift and log comps or something like that, and maybe just enter one of those to save me from being bored, or maybe just to see what I can.
Is that the UKNS ones that they're doing? They're doing.
I've seen them as well. They're in November, I think, start of November.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, or maybe something in December. But I'd like to see what I can do in the suit for the deadlift.
Yeah, I'm very much in the same thing. I haven't maxed out my deadlift for about 2 years now, so
yeah.
I think I did 3 reps with it with my old max on Saturday. You were absolutely nuts. I got to mention about that actually. Like you pulling, how many reps did you do at UKNS? Was it 5?
6 at UKNS.
So you did
220.
6 on the 220 axle at the natty finals.
Yeah.
8 weeks later, we chuck on a suit, admittedly, but then we add on 35 kilos to the bar, and you pull an extra rep.
Yeah.
255 for 7 reps. I was sitting there watching that, like, how many plies has he got in his suit? How thick is that? But yeah, no, hats off to you for that, mate. Like, I was really impressed by your performance at Brits. I think you should be really looking at like getting onto that podium for next year. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Oh yeah.
It's
After that, definitely.
Yeah, I bet you would, mate. I bet you would. Show some of these old boys where it's at. So with that in mind, like, would you say you're still looking to go down the natty route next year? Like, still sort of going down the UKNS and that?
I'd love to come back to UKNS and take a go in it again, but it's hard to split focus between the natural stuff and the non-tested stuff, because I say get more into the non-tested stuff, but I'm doing a lot of it at the moment. But I'd like to try and qualify for OSG Worlds.
Yeah,
so I think it could maybe qualify this year.
Yeah,
but will it be able to be competitive at it? That's the thing.
So I've really looked at the events that they're doing for the online qualifier, just because I've done it for the last 3 years and missed out every single time. So I'm not doing it again this year. So what I know, there's like a 2 rep max deadlift. Do you know what else there is on there?
There's a max overhead with any bar, and then a max farmer's hold for 5 seconds.
Whoa,
it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. I like the overhead, I like the deadlift. Yeah. Okay, so you reckon you're going to throw one in for the online qualifier, or try and go down sort of another route to get there?
Well, the official Strongman Ireland, the winner for that qualifies for OSG. I think I have a good chance of winning that, or
yeah, definitely.
I guess we'll see. But even if I do qualify, I think I'll leave it to next year, because it's a lot of money to fly over there.
It is a big expense coming over from Britain over to the States.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to give Europe a go, because it's the same sort of experience but a lot closer to home. So
yeah,
hopefully big show.
Like, big comp experience, like with the big guys, like with the OSG team, isn't it? So
Ben Dunham.
Yeah, Ben Dunham. Did you see him on the Sunday? Did you see him
I
at
did.
the Kaos?
Looks massive, like.
Oh yeah.
How's he going to make 80? That's my question. But
I don't know. I know he's had a few issues over the last year or so. Like last 6 months, he's had a few issues like making weight. I think it was at the Arnold's, the Arnold Europes. I think he was struggling to make weight, and I think he had to go up into the under 90s. So fingers crossed for us under 80s that keeps happening. But yeah, so okay then, mate. Well, it's been great to have a little chat with you today, Carl. Like I say, I'm not sure. I think Natty Worlds will be the next time I catch up with you. So obviously, best of luck at your strongest man. No doubt you're going to fly that Natty flag nice and high for us. Take out a few of them lab experiments. But yeah, best of luck to you, mate. Like I say, cheers for your time today.
No worries.
And yeah, best of luck. And I will see you next time, Carl. Hopefully, I'll see you in Edinburgh in a few weeks.
Hope so. Good luck.
Lovely work, mate. Right. Peace out, buddy. I'll see you next time. Take care.